Okay, so I'm here with the absolutely amazing artist Yamino, which is incredible. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes to talk to me. I had no idea you were here, but I'm super glad you are because you were such a big part of me finding myself. So I just wanted to say thank you for putting that representation out there and helping me discover that I was a super big lesbian.
I'm really glad because I also relied on stuff like that, you know, comics that I could find online or like scans of manga and things that were really hard to find when I was your age.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to be contributing to the pool of resources and representational stories out there.
Yeah, thank you so much. So you also created the now very popular incredible ship Elastigale, and I was wondering, it's
I don't know if
incredible.
you've seen my very casual cosplay that I've got
That's
today.
so cool. I love it so much. I was wondering, how does it feel to have accidentally started a fandom?
Awesome. It's especially cool because I kind of just created it for myself and I didn't really expect it to take off the way it did, but seeing how much it's meant, especially to younger, viewers like you, I've gotten so many messages. Also the Void comics about Void being trans, have meant a lot to people and it's really encouraged me to keep working on it.
Yeah, for sure. You also have a webcomic with Ash and it is absolutely incredible called Sister Claire. Check it out. And I was wondering where the inspiration behind that came and how much involvement you had in the writing process.
Okay, well, it's kind of a long story because I started Sister Claire as a college project.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I took a webcomics class when I was studying sequential art at the Savannah College of Art and Design. There's a plug. Yes, it is really nice. And so I started as a college project, and it was basically just some weird comic about a pregnant nun, and then it kind of snowballed into a bigger story, and I kept working on it for years, and then I met Ash through Adventure Time fandom, like Marceline and Bubblegum stuff. I drew a lot of fan art for that, and she drew a lot of fanfic. And so we were the big fans on campus, and we met through that. And then I moved to North Carolina and married her, and now she's the writer on Sister Claire. So, but until then, I had been doing it myself. But I feel like the story has significantly improved since she got involved, because she's an actual writer. But yeah, as for the influences, I guess Sister Act was one of my favorite movies growing up, and The Sound of Music, so those were a big initial influence. And I just love magic and witches and stuff. Yeah, and of course it's gay because I love gay things. So,
yes.
And monsters and horror and so it's kind of just this weird mashup of all the things I like. Yeah. And having worked on it 10 years, there's a lot of time to just keep adding more weird stuff to it.
Yeah. Sister Claire also runs with Missing Moments, and I was wondering what made you decide to do this whole separate thing, and how do you try and get people to draw attention? Because I know a lot of people sometimes forget to read Missing Moments.
Yeah, so we were one of the first comics, if not the first web comics, to do this thing where we have regular comic updates and then illustrated prose, which Ash writes and I illustrate. And it's a really new thing, and it was hard initially to get people to read it because people are I came here to look at pictures, I don't want to read books. And so it was really kind of a pain to get them to actually look at it. But then when they read it, the writing is really good, so it got them hooked. And it also gives us a chance to very quickly introduce backstories and histories of characters that we wouldn't have time to do. That's why it's called Missing Moments, because it's the stuff that's missing from the comic. Yeah. So, but since we did that, I've noticed a lot of other webcomics doing a similar thing. So hopefully it becomes, a more common thing and not a weird...
Yeah, for sure. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And you've been running Sister Claire for a really long time now, I know, because I've been reading it that long.
Yeah. It's going to be the 10-year anniversary on December 1st.
Oh my god, it's been that long.
I know, I feel old.
Whoa, that's incredible. I was 3 when that started. That's wild, but yeah, I
feel so old.
Yeah, I was wondering how tempting is it to go back and rewrite and change parts at the beginning?
Very tempting. In fact, I was told by some publishers when I was trying to pitch it to French publishers when I was living in Brussels, I would have to do that in order for them to even consider it.
Oh, wow.
And so I did refurbish a lot of old work for the printed book, and I did a little bit of that for the second book, which we're going to do a Kickstarter for soon. But as it goes on, my art's gotten to the point where I don't feel the need to redraw and rework it. It's such a time suck to do, and
I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's incredible, though. You also, something I've noticed with your style is that you use a lot of shape language, and your character designs are very, very dynamic and show a lot about the characters. And I was wondering what your process is behind designing a new character.
Shape language, as in the shapes I use to build the characters. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I have a really good tutorial for how to do that, other than certain shapes kind of have different primal meanings to people. So a triangle like this means like a powerful thing. You'll see a lot of characters like, I don't know, I'm thinking like Jafar from Aladdin.
Yeah.
Like characters that have this very triangular shape are supposed to be kind of powerful, and then more round characters are more kind of pleasant and friendly, and that's why Claire's face is literally a circle.
I know.
She's also influenced by the Powerpuff Girls, so there's a bit of that in there. But yeah, I guess it's kind of like a gut feeling about what shapes mean to me, and I sort of work them into, like for the twins, for example, they look almost identical, except one of them has these kind of slanted, foxy, downwards pointing eyes, which give her kind of a slightly meaner, mischievous look, and the other one has the eyes go the opposite direction and makes her kind of doe-eyed and like gentler looking, and I like to do little things like that.
Awesome. Yeah. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Yamino's amazing art, somehow, where can people find you?
You can find me on yamino.tumblr.com or elastigale.tumblr.com if you're so inclined to see a lot of gay Incredibles fan art. And you can also see my webcomic, sisterclaire.com. And I'm Yamino on pretty much everything else, like Twitter, Instagram, whatever.
Awesome.
Insert here.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking a couple minutes to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for interviewing me.
Yay!
Yay!